Hello to you, my fellow Dark Ones. How are you guys doing today? How's life? According to our original plan, today is going to be the day that we're going to make the Philosopher Stone. Aha! But before doing that, we have to get into packaged auto because I need to craft a lot of things using extended crafting. And unfortunately, in order to get into packaged auto, what we're going to need is crystalline ingots, which does require something teeny tiny called an osmium crystal. So basically, we need sulfuric acid. Mechanism machines cause a lot of lag, so we're going to do that inside the compact machine. It's not called compact machine. Yeah, obviously, it is called pocket dimension. I had to make a few platforms so that I know where everything is going to go, but before we start, what we're looking for is sulfuric acid from mechanism, right? We need that in order to get some osmium crystals. I just wanted to mention that if you use a rotary condensator, you would be able to use the sulfuric acid from the chemical library, or even the one from a mod whose name I shall not mention. So everything starts by having some electrolytic separators so that we would be able to get hydrogen and oxygen, right? And the way that I'm providing it with water is that I have a dense water collector inside a pump from a mod whose name I shall not mention. We're pumping in the water, and hydrogen, oxygen, good tanks, good pipes. The other one is to get some sulfur dioxide. For that, we are going to need chemical oxidizers, which I have a column. It's not hooked up yet, I just put in some sulfur. And I just made it in a way that I can pump in the sulfur from these sides and extract the sulfur dioxide from these sides. I think it saves on space. Also the power in the middle. Again, we are also going to use good pipes. The best that we can make. Also, I did manage to find the center. It's that block. Because now I guess we need to have a connection to our applied logistic system. Another thing is that we're not going to put cables everywhere, we're going to use a wireless hub. Don't know if it's good for lag purposes or not, but that's what we're going to do. So using the wireless connector, I have an interface over here, we're exporting sulfur, logistical sorters are taking out the sulfur, they're on round robin, and they're providing the chemical oxidizers with sulfur. Also, we are going to try and do the bare minimum today, nothing super fancy. And I just realized this might have been an overkill. It's really fast. What if we change it? Maybe logistical sorters are just slow. Let's do it with a subnetwork. It is going to be the same system. Our main applied energetic system is going to have sulfur in this interface at all times. Those cables are going to be a subnetwork powered through a quartz fiber. And then we just export the sulfur. And I think we will have enough channels. Perfect. And obviously, we copy and paste the settings on the export buses so that all of them export sulfur. I'm assuming this is going to be faster. The sulfur dioxide that we have just made goes inside the quantum entangloporter. We're going to insert it into a chemical infuser, together with oxygen, which we also need to have a quantum entangloporter for it. Why can't I type oxygen? I typed it like 4 times. But yeah, that is going to be our sulfur trioxide, which goes inside another quantum entangloporter. Now, that sulfur trioxide has to be converted into, I think, sulfuric acid. For that, we need water vapor. And I just went back to the overworld to make a pattern, and I forgot what that pattern was. It's a rotary condensator, and I already had it. I'm an idiot. With some rotary condensators, I'm making some water vapor. That goes inside another chemical infuser. We're mixing it with sulfur trioxide, and voila! Sulfuric acid, which also goes inside the quantum entangloporter. The reason that I always put them inside a quantum entangloporter is that now you can use it anywhere you want. Without need for wiring or applied energistics. And the reason that I said that I'm just going to do the bare minimum is that we're focused on the Philosopher Stone. We don't want to get fissile fuel. So that's where we stop. However, in order to get that osmium crystal, we need a dissolution chamber. I think there was an ore washer, and I think a crystallizer. That seems to be correct. So if we have a pattern provider under the dissolution chamber, and I'm tired of going back and forth, let's get a pattern encoder. I think we should be able to have a pattern that 1 osmium ingot is going to give us 5 crystals. I could be wrong, but it says every 200 millibuckets, so I'm assuming it's not wrong. Oh, and I forgot about the sulfuric acid. Yes. Yeah, 1 osmium ingot, a bit of sulfuric acid should give us 5 crystals. It's also the crystal from mechanism, not the one from all the ores. So one of the things that I have done is that I have hooked up the quantum entangloporter, which holds sulfuric acid, to a storage bus, so our main network can read how much sulfuric acid we have. Then I have a pattern that inserts 1 osmium ingot together with sulfuric acid inside the dissolution chamber. The result will go automatically inside the chemical washer and into the crystallizer, and then we import back the crystals. So even though applied energistics is not really going to do the entire work, it's fine with it. Yeah. We have the crystals. Long story short, we're good. Now we can proceed with the crystalline ingot so that I can get into packaged auto. I think the first few ones we have to craft manually anyways. Oh, we also need this. It's been there for like 2 weeks. So the question is, no, we don't have a recipe for pulsating iron, which has to be done inside the combiner if we want it to go fast. Do you have a Singularity? No. Then who cares if it's fast? We just do it in here. You do have the stack upgrade. So can I have 1000? That's not bad. So then we have to have a pattern for pulsating crystal. And then we have to crush it in a sag mill. Why a sag mill? I have all of my machines. I don't have a sag mill. Actually, we might not need a sag mill. I have these. Yeah, crusher. It's just that I don't think they're hooked up. Yeah, they're not hooked up. I have hooked it up, I have set in all the patterns, but unfortunately the crusher has 2 outputs. So half the results go here, half of them go there. I just covered it. But yeah, we have grains of piezoality. So now we should be able to make this. I think doing that inside an alloyer is going to be way better, because, you know, it's super fast. And let us also increase everything to 1 stack. You know, so that it's crafted faster. And every time I have to check, down, east, east. So down, east, east. You go there. And can I craft like 300? Perfect. I could be wrong, but I think the first iteration we have to craft it manually. Then we can have it on auto crafting. What did we run out of? I was hoping to get more. I think it's that ingot. Well, let's take it anyways. It's 2 per component and you need 2 components for each machine. Actually, 4. Okay, it's not that bad. Let me try to craft a few. The setup that I'm going to make is going to be incredibly basic, but what we're going to need is going to be a packager, like so. We're going to have a total of 8 on both sides. Under the packager, we're going to have an unpackager, and under the unpackager, we're going to have the machine that we want. This is a basic package crafter, so the basic crafting table. I have also been playing with this just to make sure that everything is going to work. But we're going to need 2 package recipes, we're going to need the package recipe encoder, we select the basic crafting table, and we just want to have a pattern for the advanced crafting table, and we save it. So one of the patterns goes inside the packager, the other one in the unpackager, and now they have to be connected to our applied energistic system. We can take it from here, 40 channels. Why not? That you have to only connect one of them to the applied energistic system, yeah. The rest of them will get connected. And now if I want to have the advanced crafting table, you should be able to make it. Yeah, perfect. I didn't even see that. Again, this is a temporary setup so that I would be able to make more of them. Now we can have an advanced package crafter, you know, same setup. And we shall have a pattern for the elite crafting table. So now that we have the pattern, can you make me an extra elite crafting table? We already had 4, I just want to see if the system works. Yeah, perfect. We have a basic, advanced, elite, and the ultimate crafting table. And I use them in order to make more elite crafting tables. So here's what we're going to do. For some of the items that we need to craft in bulk, we are going to have more crafters. It's easy to set up, we just need the unpackager, we surround it with 4 crafting tables, and the packager goes down here. Only one of them requires power, right? Right. Or a connection to our applied energistic system. So I have already made a pattern for the crystalline ingot, let's put it in. And if I want to order a bit, like 100, I can. The only problem is that it has to craft like a bajillion items. But it's crafting. Who's crafting it? Oh yeah, you. And even you. Okay, so it does work. But that is the crystalline ingot on auto crafting. And now that we have the crystalline ingot on auto crafting, we need 4 more ultimate crafting tables. Because you see, we're making the crystalline ingot, now we need the crystal matrix. And it does have a singularity, so I thought maybe we should have more. I don't know. Such an expensive recipe, maybe 4 is too much. Who burned? Oh, how did you burn? Maybe it was lightning. It happens a lot. But you guys know the drill, we're going to have the same setup. So for the crystal matrix ingot, it was a very stupid decision to have like 4 of these ultimate crafting tables. Because if you look at the recipe for a crystal matrix ingot, remember we need 125 for the singularity. That's the recipe. And yeah, we're missing frost crystals. I just have to use the digital miner and we have to go to the lost cities. However, I think making pulsating iron like this was a stupid idea. It's better if we use the combiner. Yeah, we go with this recipe. Also, we increase it to 1 stack. Cause I just realized I need them in the thousands and I was not making it that fast. So you're up, west. Up and west. So now if I want some pulsating crystals, let's say I don't know 5000. You're working fine. Maybe you're going to be finer with a better tier installer. I need to upgrade a lot of the machines. Also, as you might have noticed from the recipe, I was missing a ton of frost crystals, 1600 to be exact. So I'm back at the lost cities and we're gathering way more. I know later on I have to automate this, but for the moment it's fine. Remember, Philosopher Stone is the goal, and we should never ever deviate from our goal. I got all the frost crystals and this is our worst recipe yet. Everything that you look at is in the thousands, except ruins, in the 700s. Well, let's craft it, I guess. I don't have anything else to do. And I think that's going to be our worst singularity ever. There was something else, Aldemodium. Well, you can't mine it. I don't think we're getting anything extra, right? Maybe we are, I'm not sure. Do I have a miner here? Oh, I do. Yeah, it's a Rosarium miner, so it should give us Aldemodium. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it has been maybe 3 or 4 hours later, and I have just been AFK. Yeah, I had some work to do, so I left the game running. You might notice that we have 124 crystal matrix ingots and not 125, because it is stuck. So blocking mode was not enabled on one of the induction smelters. I messed up the electrum, but we need one more. That's it. And it should be done in a second. Also, I just wanted to tell you that in those 3 hours, I got 1.5 million Inferium. Because the output buffer of the crafter was full, so it got stuck. Anyways, one of the things that I was waiting for was Aldemodium, and even though it has been a few hours, we didn't get enough. Even though I upgraded the miner. So we do have a few options. We can add more miners, or we can craft Aldemodium. I do understand it does look stupid, but I only need 1000. Maybe a bit more. But that basically means that we have to get into power, and we do have the energizing rod and the energizing orb. Only the one. And I think where we're going to set it up is just going to be here, in this tower. You know, somewhere in the ceiling. So that will be our pattern provider, that's our energizing orb. We're going to need a bit more. Well, I just had to make a few gizmos. We have our pattern provider, for the moment one energizing orb. Before I forget, we enable blocking mode. I have a wireless connector, which goes up there. We connect it, and I have 2 patterns. It's a semi-temporary setup, we just need to make a few things, and we do need to make them actually super fast. This is why I have like 5 rods and 1 orb. So energize steel, give me, I don't know, 20 blocks. It's working, that is perfect, and we just import it back. Lovely. So you guys already know the drill, I have to go to Nitro, and that could take a bit of time. Well, that turned out to be relatively easy, it's like all the mods. So you can make different crystals with blocks, and well, they're very efficient. That's Nitro. We just need to get a few rods and we should be fine. Yeah. Super easy. So now that we have a decent supply of rods, what we're going to do is that we're going to surround the pattern provider with more orbs, so that, you know, it crafts everything faster. And we're just going to need a bit more import buses. So everybody's powering one thing. I have to adjust everything, I know. We have literally every single energizing rod. I have a feeling it's correct. I haven't messed it up. Each 6 rows is supposed to power 1 orb. Yeah, so let's get half a stack more blocks. See how it goes. That's actually quite fine. Cool, now we can make some Aldemodium. Those are garbage. It's not even worth the upgrade. So, for Aldemodium, obviously, we're going to need the Nitro Crystal. Soul infused ingot, we actually have a singularity for it as well, which is 25,000. Can you make 25,000? Don't really know how, but I'm not gonna ask. It's actually decently fast. So we're also going to require flux electrum and also energetic alloy and refined glowstone. That's a lot of patterns, because I do have a feeling I don't have refined glowstone. Do I? No. So it's west down. I also realized that there is a far better recipe of making electrum inside the combiner. Well, better is not the good word, because it gives you just 1 electrum with 1 gold and silver. It's supposed to give you 2, but it's incredibly fast. Let's get back to singularities. I have made a few and apparently they were in the system. It was End Steel and Netherite Emerald. But Crystal Matrix we should be able to make. Lovely. Skulk, we have to make it later on, because I forgot to set up the machine, but Aldemodium we should be able to craft now, which could take ages. So why aren't you making refined glowstone? Oh, it's the opposite. It's down and west. I hate it when you have to cancel something mid-craft. We do this again. Now it's working. So after Aldemodium we have gunpowder. We have 8.7 million, not a big deal. I thought counting singularities is not the best thing to do. So there's a Skulk singularity somewhere around here, but this is gunpowder, netherite diamond, tertium, awakened draconium, netherite, and enhanced gold. These things are weird, it's from the armor mod, I don't know, armor plus. I have never ever made the pattern for them, but they exist. And also it's a pain because it's 20,000 item, it doesn't fit in the input bus. I have to rearrange it, but later. So apart from the Skulk alloy, maybe we should fix it. So it's such an easy thing to do, so Package Crafter also has a variant for the Skulk Crafter. So I guess we just put you here, and make sure there is a wire, which there's not. We're using 97 channels, that's fine. So as usual, we're going to need 2 packages, and we're looking for the Skulk Crafter. You have one, right? Yeah, there you go. That is our pattern. And I think our only pattern for that machine ever. It's also one of the easier recipes, 1250. But in any case, after that we have a problem, stainless steel. It's not a problem, but it's different. So stainless steel is something from a mod whose name I shall not mention, and you need chrome for that. I have been checking, we have 8000 chrome, so we should be fine. You get it from your rock crushers. Again, one of the easier singularities, 1250. Wait, isn't that tin? Oh, okay. We don't know how to craft tin. It's obvious. We're getting it from the miners. Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, let me try to get more singularities. I'll be right back. You know, until we run into a problem or something. Oh, mana steel. Oh, that's 25,000. The thing is, I don't actually have enough mana steel. Well, I do have the seed, and that gives you 5. It's not enough. We can supplement it with iron blocks. Not a big deal. Because I think the mana pool is incredibly fast, right? Yeah, we do it like this. Not manually. In any case, I'll be right back. So this is something really interesting, and I'm very grateful for the person who made the comment for it. So if you guys remember when we set up the crops, I mentioned that, hey, you cannot have a recipe like this for mana steel and then also craft it in the machine. It doesn't make any sense. Somebody told me that Applied Energistics is now wise enough, so if you want to make 25,000 mana steel, for example, it will take all the essences and it will craft the blocks. That is lovely. Thank you, wise person. Well, I have just set up the patterns for another row. So far, no problem. I just wanted to give you a very small progress update. Another singularity is ready. So I'm crafting 7 of them at the same time. One of them is almost ready. Wait, that's wrong. Oh, that's refined. Wait, I made that. Yeah. So what are you doing? I wanted gold. I pressed on the wrong thing. Yeah, and it's ready. So most of the singularities are ready. We also had a manual in Singularity, but it was not really a big deal because you can make it inside the induction smelter. Ender ingot is something that I did not pay attention to. It's 25,000. And that's my magnet. So we're just gonna craft this very slowly, I guess. How many ingots is that? That's not much. Let's get a bunch more alternators. Does it work up here too? Yeah. I know this is garbage, but it will work. I think I did manage to fix the enhanced ender ingots. Look at the speed. That's not bad. And both of them are doing the same thing. But that's actually not the main reason that I brought you in. There are 13 singularities left. And over here, we have 13 slots. So that part is fine. I just wanted to mention that. But there is a singularity called dark metal. This one. So this is something that we get from our mob farm, I think. Oh, you're a blasting recipe. You're not a blasting recipe. Because we're getting the small chunks, we're getting the big chunks, and I already forgot the name. Dark metal. We have 190,000 of the small piles. And then what? We just cook it? I think we just cook it. And I have 2 patterns for terracotta. I'm a weird person. So, dark metal. Can you craft it? Okay, maybe it wasn't a big deal. I'm sorry. I thought it is. Yeah, totally not a big deal. Also, the final thing that we're missing is our 8 times compressed cobblestone. How far are we? 4 million. I think an hour ago it was 8 million. Because one of the things that I have done is that we also had 4 cobblestone generators here. I surged them. So we have like 10 cobblestone generators which are surged. I don't know. But yeah. Dark metal. Off the list. We're getting very close to the Philosopher Stone. I'm excited. You know, I thought this enhanced ender thing is going to be a pain, but it was just 1000 blocks. And you make the blocks. So 5 singularities are left. And 5 slots are empty. Those are the only one. I have also been checking, yeah, we're now missing 2.6 million cobblestone. So I think it's wise to start making the smaller ones, you know, so that I don't really have to wait half an hour. I'm exaggerating, it was more like 10 minutes. Next time that we meet, we shall have the Philosopher's Stone. I'm right? Let's check. Yeah, 2 items are missing. Such a lovely day. I don't know what to do. Also, the singularities that are left are from thermal expansion. Yeah, they are going to take a very long time to make. And there are obviously some cheaty recipes that we can use. For example, for flux electrum. You know, it's not a very productive recipe, but we can just do this. But I'm not really in a hurry. We're still missing 2.6 million cobblestone. And I might have to AFK. Or I don't know, do something productive. Never mind, I'll AFK. I'm excited. My brain doesn't work when I'm excited. My fellow lords and ladies of darkness, as promised, I did mention that next time that we meet, we are going to have the Philosopher's Stone. So that's the ultimate singularity. Lovely. And that should be my Philosopher's Stone. Finally. Yeah, I have been making some cheaty electrum because I couldn't wait. It was a huge waste of resources, but it's fine. We will have EMC, none of this will matter. And don't you worry, I am going to try and automate every single resource and alloy that we have to make, but for that I do need to have EMC. But for the moment, let's get a bunch of alchemical fuel. Wait, can I like cheat? a bit. We can have a pattern for alchemical fuel. We can put it inside a quantum crafter and ask it to craft. Oh yeah, this is way better. There is also a compressor that we have to make for different types of fuel from Project E, which we will make. But before doing that, I really want to get another Philosopher Stone, because if you look at the recipe of the controller, where is it? Yeah, it does require the Philosopher Stone as well as blue fuel. So I don't know, maybe I'm going to need one more. Also give me some cards. This is slow. This, on the other hand, is way faster. Let us have another pattern for Mobius fuel, Eternalis fuel. We can't make them all at the same time, but you know. There's also magenta fuel. Well, I think this part I actually have... Oh, purple fuel. This part I do actually have to use quantum crafters until we get to blue fuel. And you know, we can automate everything. So you stop, you start. Maybe the pattern is wrong? Yeah, that was the problem. I have to put in our own Philosopher Stone. Also, our ultimate miner in the end dimension has given us 44 million coal. We might need to improve that. Not might, definitely. But ladies and gentlemen, that's some dark matter, and that is some red matter. Life is amazing. So I did mention that today we are going to get the Philosopher Stone, and next episode we are going to get Energy Condensers and have EMC, but I just noticed, why wait? Because I think I can craft them, I just set in the patterns. So this is Energy Condenser Mark 1, we're missing Dark Matter, Insanium, Pink Matter, Insightful Condenser, and Alchemical Chest. So Dark Matter is not really a big deal, there you go. Insanium Block, probably not a big deal, it's just a pattern. Alchemical Chest, it's something that we already have. It's just that I don't have a pattern for the covalence dust. We don't need it that much, but there you go. The Insightful Majigabob, that should also be easy. That is silver, okay. And there is an Insightful Crystal. So, can I have an Energy Condenser? Oh, Pink Matter. Pink Matter comes from Magenta Fuel. Okay, we can do that. There you go. Some Pink Matter. Actually, let's get a bit more. So, Energy Condenser, Mark 1. We can have the 1. Now the question is, can I have the 2? Because Energy Condensers do have EMC 2 billion. But basically, I want to try and dupe one of them. But in any case, Energy Condenser Mark II, that's a bit more complicated. 65,000 K ME storage components. A bit of compressed obsidian, which I'll be honest with you, that could be the main problem. Red matter is fine. Blue matter, I don't know. But let's figure out the rest of the items. This one is just a bunch of crafting. So again, Energy Condenser Mark II. Okay, that's a pattern I missed. Dispenser. I'll try to fix it. You know, I have been trying to make different types of fuels and matters, but then I remembered something. I have an energy condenser. It's not the best, but we can get some nether star blocks and convert things. So we want to dupe red matter. You go in, we get a bunch. That's actually not a bad conversion rate. So after red matter, what do we get? We dupe some of you. So I can make some magenta, which I do have the fuel for. That is a bit of magenta. That's actually a lot. Oh, it's 80 million EMC per stack of nether star blocks. So after magenta, it's pink, right? Let's get a bunch. We get it all. Purple requires pink fuel. I have already made it. There you go. I'm guessing violet requires purple. We duped this one. Oops. Nope. It's okay. We didn't lose much. That's violet. You go there. And we dupe it a bit more. And violet should give us blue. So there you go. That is blue matter, and let's not lose it. And let's dupe it. This is a very expensive matter, yeah. 151 million. So it's like 2 stacks of nether star blocks. So can you give me one energy condenser Mark II? Oh, obsidian. I forgot about that. But again, we can dupe it, right? Yeah, they do have EMC. Aha. Give me the 1. I'll dupe it myself. Yeah, that's more than enough. So energy condenser Mark II. Lovely. That's gonna take ages. I think just because of the processor, although that also had EMC. But it's fine, I can wait. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Energy Condenser Mark II. Why isn't this one a quest? Oh, it's just the first one. The next one is not. Fine by me. So can I dupe this one too? Oh, this is expensive. It's okay. We have plenty of nether stars for now. Also, let's not waste it. We have 2 energy condensers Mark II. These are way better. Because it can be automated. It's also a teeny tiny bit faster, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, way faster. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as you guys probably know, EMC changes everything. The gist of it is that from now on, we're going to skip a ton of automations. And yeah, I give you that, it's not the tablet, it's just the energy condenser, but that will do. We just need to hook it up correctly to our system like so, give it a bunch of cards so that everything is going to be super fast. I made the wrong thing. So we don't need the export buses, they have to be import buses. I just picked up the wrong thing. It's fine. So here's how it's going to work for the moment until we get to the energy tablet, or EMC links or whatever. We are going to have two import-export buses to the energy condensers. They're going to export nether stars, and obviously import everything else. Yeah, that's gonna be slow. Let's do blocks. I'm just a bit worried because I don't have that much nether stars. Obviously, whatever we want to dupe, we just put it here, it will be imported back into our system. And we're going to have acceleration cards so that it would be imported faster. I have also asked our request terminal to keep a few blocks of nether stars in our system at all times. So basically, if I'm short on uranium, there you go. This is great. Although I have a question, somebody mentioned that you're going to need billions of coal. I don't know why. Because every single different fuel from Project E does have EMC. Unless there is other uses for coal which I'm not aware of. I honestly don't know. But from now on, I'm not worried about resources ever again. It's just that very soon we just have to find something which gives us a very high EMC value. Mechanism is such a lovely mod. They wished me a happy new year. Aw, I love Mechanism. So last night, for me, not for you, a few seconds ago for you, I did mention that I received a comment that I should get a ton of coal. And I did mention, I don't know why. The only assumption that I have is that the person who suggested that was thinking about the fuel from Project E. You know, just to be able to get some EMC. Because you know, if you get white fuel, that's almost 34 billion EMC. That's a good number. That's my only assumption. I can't think of anything else. So if there is something else, please let me know. I have no idea. Although it doesn't seem very likely because I converted literally every ounce of coal that I had. You know, we had like 40 something million into fuel from Project E. And so far we only have 724 blue fuel. Which is nothing. So I'm not really sure, maybe nether stars are going to be better. Or maybe blocks of emerald. But I'll wait for you to tell me. However, in the meantime, what is the rest of the plan? Good question. And yes, very soon we are going to play around with RF Tools Dimension, but I'm going to wait for your feedback. You know, for EMC. Nothing super fancy. So obviously our next order of business is going to be the transmutation table, right? Out of everything that you see in front of you, we have everything except this one. Exoversal alloy. This is from Evolved Mechanism, the add-on to Mechanism. For that, you're going to need singular alloy. For singular alloy, you're going to need subatomic alloy. And that requires antimatter. And the funny part is that due to a very slight accident, we have discovered that we just need the antimatter because we are already getting the better gold that we need for the singular alloy, you see, this one, as well as whatever we need for the exoversal alloy from our mob farm, which I haven't even improved. But that should be enough. So I think we need to make some fissile fuel. Yeah, that's the correct dimension. Good. What I have done is that I have already duped like 2 million sulfur and a bit of uranium. So we would be able to upgrade at least some of the machines. We're wasting 4 billion RF just to make sulfuric acid. That's crazy. So I'll be very honest with you, I have absolutely no idea how crazy we should go, but we're going to have 2 enrichment chambers for uranium yellow cake. So we might need like 10. I highly doubt that. There's no way in this universe you can keep up with the uranium. Well, yes, we can dupe it. I just remembered. In any case, we have 2 upgraded enrichment factories. They're making us the yellow cake. We have 6 chemical oxidizers, which are giving us uranium oxide. We're going to have 2 chemical dissolution chambers, I don't think we're going to need more, in order to make hydrofluoric acid. So we shall have our quantum entangler for sulfuric acid. We go to gases, output, auto-eject on, and we get nothing. Oh, it's sulfur trioxide. It's a good thing it didn't go in. So what I have been doing is that I have been duping fluorite blocks. I think it's more efficient than fluorite itself. We're going to export that into the dissolution chambers and hope for the best. Yeah, that should be hydrofluoric acid. As usual, I'm just using quantum entangler porters and I have just ordered more. It's easier on logistics. And also if we want to scale it up, it makes everything easier. But again, honestly speaking, I don't think we need to scale it up. Yeah, that's uranium hexafluoride. Let's have 2 chemical infusers, just in case. And everything that we have just made goes inside a centrifuge. How do I give you power? It's okay. We put you up here. And voila. And that should be your power as well. So that is our fissile fuel, which is perfect. Again, that goes inside another quantum entangler porter so that we can use it at the reactor. That's actually a decent rate. Also, you don't have enough power? 3 million RF. Well, it's making us 400 millibuckets. I'm never going to make a reactor which burns more than 400 millibuckets. And maybe we remove one speed upgrade? Or the two? Yeah, now it's 711 millibuckets. Okay, we're good. Now that we have our fissile fuel, we might as well take care of Brian, the fluid. So if you guys remember, there was a compact thermal evaporation plant. Previously we had the one, I made 3 more. So 2 of them are going to be for sodium and chlorine, 2 of them are going to be for Brian and lithium. Brian the fluid, obviously. I wanted to go with the water collector from a mod whose name I shall not mention, but I just remembered we have something way better. Evertide amulet. First things first, let's see if it works. Let's get a fluid tank, whatever. Actually, now that we're here, let's get a better fluid tank. I don't have it on auto crafting, that's the problem. I should have made a pattern, I give you that. But that is a way better fluid tank. I think if you put the amulet here and change it to empty, you know, the setting on the tank, you will always have water. And if you guys remember, water has to be inserted from the bottom. Yeah, it's not hot. Thankfully, I have the resistive heater on auto crafting. So now we can make it really hot, go to 2500 RF, and yeah, that is Brian, the fluid. Can I go higher? Doesn't seem to make a difference. So, Brian, the fluid, can be extracted from the top of the thermal evaporation tower, you know, the mini one, and I'm putting it inside 3 electrolytic separators. We're getting chlorine, we're getting sodium, and I do have massive tanks. Just as a buffer. Because here's the thing, I need to cool down the reactor with sodium and not water, because I need the superheated sodium in order to make something called molten thermonuclear. That gives me enriched thermonuclear, which is used in making something called shining, and it gives you an ingot, which we do need it. So this is why I have a massive buffer. I have also set in the lithium, so we have a tank with water, you know, same concept, with the Evertide amulet. That goes inside the thermal evaporation tower, we get Brian, the fluid. That goes inside another thermal evaporation tower, we get lithium, rotary condensator, and obviously a crystallizer. We get lithium dust. I can make it go faster, but I don't know why I would need lithium. You know, I have been checking, the best thing you can make with it is the ingot, or the induction matrix, which we don't really need. But yeah, that's our setup. And so far we have a decent supply of sodium. That makes me happy. Also, dump excess. You know, so that it doesn't clog up. Just before we wrap up, I do have a question. Last episode, when we were fighting in the dungeons, I asked you guys, is there like a super OP sword? Obviously, there is the Sword of the Cosmos, but yeah. But with my chaotic sword, it took me like 10 minutes to kill a boss. So far, nobody has replied to me, so if you have any ideas, please let me know. If not, I'm going to enable apotheosis. I do understand it's not intended, it's just that I'm really not a fan of killing someone for like 15 minutes. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's also a good time to wrap up the episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Till the next one. Bye bye.